Hello everyone, welcome back to the SN Studio, and as the thumbnail and title has revealed, we are super excited about 10th edition. So we're going to hear from the team and some of the elements that they feel they're most excited about on the release of coming 10th, and what they're kind of anxious about, what they're excited about, including me. And of course, we will be giving as much coverage as possible on 10th edition when it does go live, including battle reports and behind the scenes stuff from the SN team, what we're going to be doing, checking out our Discord, in-depth analysis of competitive elements and the casual elements, everything in between. So make sure if you're not subscribed that you are subscribed for future 10th content coming very, very soon. So without further ado, let's start with Captain Pardo and let's see what he's excited about 10th edition.
Well, back to indexes, I think it's the best thing that could happen to 40k. To tell you the truth, for me, the glory days of 40k was indexes in 8th edition. Everything was balanced, everything was the same. We used to do little RTTs here at the local club, and we never knew who was going to win, who was going to be runner-up, because to tell you the truth, everything was on par with every single unit and every single army. So I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing to start. Obviously, there will be slight codex creep when that comes out. Hopefully, I think what will help is when those codexes do come out, if they can actually shorten the time between each codex. I know COVID was a thing and it did delay a lot of the codexes in 9th edition, which, to tell the truth, spoiled 9th edition a bit. Indexes with fast codexes coming one after the other after that, I think is a 10 out of 10 for me.
So the great leveling, going back to index where we all began, there's positives and negatives. I am mostly positive about it. I haven't been quiet that I'm not the biggest fan, for example, of the Chaos Space Marines Codex of 9th edition. There were a lot of things that I felt were missing or didn't lack flavor, etc. So I'm hoping that the index gives us a good reset. I swear if they give me reroll morale for word bearers, I will explode. It can't do that to me again. But other than that, yeah, super excited because, again, with the index, we're all kind of set back to zero. We can all play for the fun elements that we want to. Don't have to worry about potentially, hiding behind terrain because we're going to get table turn one. Because from what they're saying, it's going to be that great leveler, like I mentioned. So like less killy, less lethal. And with that, hopefully, yeah, a much more streamlined and fun game. So indexes, thumbs up from me. If they bring back word bearers, reroll morale, thumbs down.
So what am I most excited about 10th? Well, to be honest, I'm quite excited about everything that's coming. It's fantastic. I love new rules. I love when something comes out, refreshes the whole design of the game, refreshes everything. So I'm excited about how they're going to do the psychic, how they're going to restrict stratagems, how they're going to bring out fluff of different armies. So I'm fully excited where the lore is going. I mean, we've all seen that video from Gilliman, and for me, I felt so bad for him. It felt like he was hurt by the end of it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him and that lion who's coming. So I'm definitely excited to see what they've got cooked up. They've led us down this path for a long time now. So just hope and pray for some good rules for my Ultramarines, some good ones for the Guard, and some great ones for the Grey Knights, especially for them. I feel like they're going to need some love.
What am I most excited about 10th edition? First and foremost, it's always refreshing when a new edition comes out. I remember the craze of 8th edition and how much that transformed the kind of enthusiasm of the community to get stuck back into 40k, including myself, having only dabbled in it in 7th edition and earlier editions back in the day, being a Warhammer fantasy boy from my early days. But yeah, 10th has got me excited in the same way that 8th has. They've talked a lot of kind of key points that I've been worried about with 9th edition, where it was going, and now with more streamlined elements and incorporating perhaps Horus Heresy and maybe even AOS elements into 10th edition. There's some good parts in both of those games. So hopefully, with 10th edition coming out, then we can see a quicker, funner, less kind of ruthless and brutal game of 40k, which is perfect for me because I am rubbish.
Okay, so what am I most worried about? Well, firstly, I want to say that I'm very excited about coming back to indexes. I think that hopefully they've learned a lot from indexes back in 8th edition to now doing it again with 10th, and I think they'll do it well this time. However, they have said that they want to keep rules down, keep everything to one page for army rules and everything. I'm worried about whether they keep to that or not. If they do, I think this can be really good. But like I was talking with Pardo earlier, that as soon as it was a few months into 9th edition, there were already 6 or 7 books needed just to play one faction. And even though originally they said it was going to be a bit more streamlined. So if they keep it streamlined, I think that's good. But I do worry if maybe when codexes start coming out, there's going to be a bit of a bloat. I'm hoping not, but I guess we'll see.
So what am I most worried about? Well, to be honest, whilst I was listening to all the things they were saying about 10th edition and what they're going to do and what their vision is, I did have flashbacks and a bit of a deja vu of what they actually said would happen in 9th. They said it was going to be streamlined. They said it was going to be faster. They said there was going to be less books, and that didn't last long. So I really hope this time they keep their promise with that. There is less books, it is more streamlined, and the game is actually faster, because all those things will just make the game much better for all of us.
So guys, stratagems. This is going to be the best part, I think, of the whole redesign. Without restricting a lot of it, which is fantastic, we're going to have very few stratagems we need to actually think about. There's going to be less gotcha moments. Captain Pardo has been very vocal about this in the past. It's why the Gibraltar GT has those restrictions in place. This is fantastic. This is what we wanted. We want to just get to the dice rolls, get playing, and have less of those moments where, well, I didn't know what you had. Well, now it's coming. This is what we wanted. We wanted less bloat. We've got it. It's going to be a more streamlined game. That's what I'm hoping for, and a lot more fun.
Yeah, okay, so this is a big change. When I read that earlier this morning, I was really excited. SN have been doing it for a while now in the No Retreat tournaments, and very soon in the Gibraltar GT, having a cap on the number of stratagems. The fact that there's only going to be 6 for every single faction, I think that's amazing. I think the fact that it's cutting on the amount of knowledge you have to know, not only on your faction, but not all the factions in the game, just to play the game and feel like you're not going to be missing out, or feel that you're not going to be in any way gotcha'd by someone else, even if they're not doing it intentionally, just because they have like 30 stratagems that they can do. Keeping it to 6, I think, is an amazing thing. I think it's really going to make gameplay a lot more fun, a lot faster as well, because there's less of things you have to remember about your faction. No one really wants to think about 24 different things they could do. Keeping it to a flavorful 6, I think, is going to be really good, and I think it's going to be very healthy for the competitive state of the game as well.
Wow, what can I say about the new model? Spectacular. To tell you the truth, we knew the Lion was coming. Like, so many rumors everywhere. He had to come, right? In the fluff, in the narrative of where we are now in 40k. You can see Chaos dominating, and we knew that it needed to take 3 Primarchs, Chaos Primarchs, to come back to actually awaken a new Imperial Primarch. And the Lion's back. The model is even better than what I thought it was going to be. Spectacular. Again, a 10 out of 10 for him. And we've seen a lot of freshened up models, right? The new Terminators are back to what they should have been on the battlefield. You know, they're larger than Primaris. The old models looked, well, were shorter than the normal Primaris models, which didn't make sense. Now they have a big threat on the table of how they look, which is great. Again, we've seen some freshened up units in the Tyranids book as well, with the Gaunts coming out for preview. Again, they look absolutely spectacular. So looking forward to that. We have Dante coming, maybe some other characters being primaritized as well. I just can't wait.
So the new models, I mean, just look at how cool they all look, and hopefully we'll get to see some of the new models coming out from that CGI trailer that we saw as well, which, I mean, a Gravis Apothecary coming. You know how much I love Apothecaries. Come on, a Gravis one. It's fantastic. What we did see was Lion. I mean, everyone has been absolutely amazed by the Lion. And then what we saw with the Termagant, which looks so much sleeker, so much nicer. I mean, you can actually, for me, I could actually tell it has 6 limbs. I couldn't tell that before from the old model. So I think they've been working very hard on this range, and what they've got coming up next is going to blow our minds.
So, data slates. I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I was a bit apprehensive because I don't like change. But it took me so long to learn the data slates we have now, and I still get confused, especially in 40k with those. But no, and the more I looked at it, the more actually I thought it does feel more streamlined, knowing the strength of the weapons rather than trying to multiply the strength compared to certain buffs and things you've got. I quite like the idea of that. The idea that, for example, psychic ability is going to be stuck in the data sheets so that the psychic phase is gone. Now, I have had a hard time transition that with Horus Heresy. I keep forgetting that I have abilities to do in the shooting phase, etc., because I'm used to the whole phase. So I'm probably going to have to get used to that in 40k, but I do prefer it, I think, rather than having a specific psychic phase, because it feels more in tune. I think it's what they've said. It feels more in tune with how this librarian or the sorcerer, how they would work. For example, if you're going to fire some sort of arc lightning, you're going to do it during the shooting phase where everyone else is firing, etc., not randomly in another phase before any of that kind of happens. So that thematic element might work as well. And otherwise, yeah, it's a strange one to look at first, but I think we're going to get used to it quite quickly. And I also think that I think it's going to help quicken the game, which is great for us.
Okay guys, I'll be honest, the first time I saw this I was a bit confused, but as soon as you look at it, it's actually quite simplified. I think it's really nice the fact that all the weapons have their full profile, the strength, what they need to hit with, everything like that. I think being in the weapons is really good. And then the actual unit card just being more about their leadership, about their toughness, etc., I think is really nice. There's still a lot we need to uncover. Like I think the Termagant showed was leadership 8+, which means that definitely leadership is going to be a bit different. But I think it looks quite simplified. The fact that all the abilities are said to be in the actual datasheet of every unit, I think is going to be really nice and will add a lot to the flavor and mean that you won't have to be looking in like 7 different places just to find the rules that your unit can do. It'll all be condensed in that one place, which I think is cool. And I think we still have to wait and see some more, and I'm hoping that they do release some more soon. But so far, it's looking pretty cool.
So, what's been previewed for the Force organization, the new Force organization, which really there isn't, I actually think is a really good idea. Something that I didn't like at the beginning of 8th and 9th is that to get extra CP, you needed to build things like battalions. So you needed to invest and be taxed on the likes of troops to actually have more CP to actually play the game a bit better. Now, with this type of thing, you can actually bring any kind of army you want. I'm just about to play a full tank heavy list with the Darks of Omen detachments, which personally I think is great. I think it's the best thing Arcs of Omen actually had, apart from a couple of things which I wasn't very happy about, like missions and stuff. I think that having something like this and let you build any army that you want and still be able to play it on the battlefield with no tax or any negatives about it is a great thing for everybody.
So the new Force organization, there isn't any. You know, all you've got to do is choose your HQ unit and rule of 3, and then for your troops, rule of 6. It's definitely going to be interesting what kind of lists come out from this, what kind of armies people bring out. I think it's going to look fantastic. I think it's going to allow a lot of people to run what they really wanted to run all along. And I think it's going to look fantastic. I mean, we've got Arcs of Omen who's already allowing us to do all these things as of now, but they're just running with it, which is fantastic. Everyone wanted to run more Terminators, or they wanted to run loads of Dreadnoughts. That's coming. And hopefully we're going to see a lot of very cool lists, very cool armies, and we're going to be showcasing a lot of that here. So keep tuned in.
So this is a big ask. What do I want most for 10th edition? And I can't really pin it down on a specific thing, but I've been complaining or talking to a lot of people on our Discord and everyone else that would hear it, that one of the things I love about Horus Heresy, for example, is that when I play Word Bearers, it feels like I'm playing Word Bearers. There's thematic, unique elements to that army, their abilities, and the unit types that make me feel like it's a Word Bearer. And it's, even though most of Horus Heresy at the moment is very similar data sheets, you feel that flavor, that thematic difference in each army. In 40k at the moment, in 9th edition, especially that book, you don't get that. At least I don't get that. I play my Word Bearers, but I could be playing any faction, really. Other than a few stratagems and relics, there's not much. I'll give you an example. Our faction trait lets you reroll hits in combat. Well, you can get that through other strats or other abilities within other factions. So it's not unique. There's nothing unique there to Word Bearers, unit-wise or anything else in 40k that you get in Horus Heresy. And that feeling is really important because I guess we're all immersing ourselves on the tabletop and we want to play the factions we love and want them to have deep flavor. So I'm hoping that comes in 10th. Like I said, is a big ask because I don't know how quite you tackle that. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And I hope that comes from other factions as well, not just mine. but all factions get that kind of depth of flavor without being kind of bloated and some of the things we've seen in the past. So yeah, it's a big ask, but fingers crossed it comes true.
So this is actually a tough question because I personally think, and a lot of us, especially in the team, think that the core of 9th edition was great. I think it's been probably the best edition there is. It was all about the bloat that came after. Too many books, too many FAQs, too many erratas, and that is exactly what spoiled the game. So with what we've heard of and what they've previewed for now, I am very happy. Now, what I want to see extra in this 10th edition is two things that I want to see the most. First of all is I think terrain needs to be checked out again and looked into again. The aesthetic of how 40k looks now with the terrain rules, everything's hiding away, big V-shaped ruins, especially in competitive play. And when I know DC has been talking about it a lot, when you actually compare it to the likes of Horus Heresy, where you feel your army, you're not really hiding away, it really looks and it immerses you into what a battle actually looks like. So I would like to see terrain reevaluated and maybe made better in the sense of I think it should look aesthetically better on the battlefield, not hiding away like we are now. Secondly, and I think it's a very important point, is missions need to be very, very good and very, very exciting compared to the last ones. I really liked how it started off, but then it's stayed the same for a couple of years now. It's become boring now. It's like hold 1, hold 2, and it's all about holding those objectives. Again, we need different missions where it's not only about holding, it's about killing or holding certain areas in the table and not those specific objectives. So those two things more than anything, I think terrain needs to be checked and made a bit better, and obviously the missions need to be jazzed up.
Okay, so what do I want to see from 10th? Honestly, I want more factions. I think the new faction of Votann and World Eaters that they came out with in 9th edition was great. And I really think that if they add more factions and variety, that'll be really cool. We've seen some hints with the Beastmen that have been announced with the I think it was Warcry or Kill Team, but I really hope that there's new things coming, and I'm sure there will be in the pipeline. So that's it from all of us. That's our initial 10th edition review, or reaction, so we say, to the rules that have been released. So please remember to comment down below with anything you want us to do. Obviously, we're going to be doing a lot of videos on the build up to 10th edition. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And from all of us here, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.